Hello my friends, this is an update on predictions for the Ukraine war. I'm making this video in the autumn of 2023. I've already made 12 videos. So every month or two, I've made a video making predictions of the next thing that I expect to happen in the Ukraine war. Sometimes I've made extensive videos, some of the early ones, where I show graphs of this model that I've built for how the war will develop. I go back in time, show what happened during World War II and other periods of time and how this model works. So developed a clear data visualization and understanding of the dynamics that are happening in the war. So this is another update. This is now my 13th video, and the accuracy of these forecasts for the Ukraine war is stunning. It's just like, even shocks me how accurate the vibrational astrology is. And this is part of our evidence-based studies, that vibrational astrology is an evidence-based practice. In an evidence-based practice, a key issue is to have solid data from databases. We have that. This book, The Astrology of Bipolar Disorder, A Scientific Breakthrough, this is the most important work that I've produced. It explains from beginning to end the details of how this model is built and how it's working so well, specifically in understanding the astrological dynamics behind bipolar disorder. This is a revolution, a whole new data-driven, evidence-based understanding of the relationship of celestial events to behavior of people here on Earth. The variables we discovered, the way this works is different from any other thing that's been understood before in the field of astrology. Also important in evidence-based practice is to take what you learn from that data analysis and use it in real life work. Work with clients is the primary one. We're also using it for world events, such as the Ukraine war, to see if when we take these ideas that are validated through the database, do they work in real life? Yes, they do. And we learn a lot about subtle details, fine nuances, what's really going on, what the meaning of it is, how this functions. So we need both the data analysis, the application in real life events. And so this Ukraine war is one example where we go out on a limb. We make a prediction. Does it happen? It's just unbelievable. So I want to go over what's been happening since the last forecast I made for the Ukraine war back in June. So in June, this is what I have on the PowerPoint slide in the previous video in the series. What I have there is the Ukraine war will make strong advances this summer. Remember, I'm making this in June, so I'm saying this summer, July, August, this is what's going to happen. Russia will send missiles into cities and use dirty bombs and even nuclear bombs if it starts losing the war, at which point the West will finally realize that negotiation and acceptance of Russian occupation of the eastern region may be necessary. So what the astrological analysis has said from the beginning, I started making these predictions on the Ukraine war immediately after the war began, way back in February of 2022, over a year and a half ago. The first thing that I noticed is that this war would be long, it would be drawn out, it would be difficult, and it would not be as easy as people might think. It's going to be very difficult, go on and on and on. Has that happened? Obviously, yes. And then I made specific predictions of when Russia would claim ownership, of eastern Ukraine. Exactly correct. So many details of what happened. Remember that the West let Russia take Crimea years ago without much retaliation. This time, the West said no. Zelensky, the head of the Ukrainian government, said no. We're not going to accept this. We're going to fight back. So here's what we see on a website reporting the development of the war, and I give the website down here. After months of speculation, Ukrainian counteroffensive operations began at the beginning of June 2023. So was my forecast accurate? Here's a review of what happened. So the counteroffensive began in June. Was it going to succeed? I said that there would be some success. Ukraine will make strong advances, but not be able to completely succeed. What happened? Now that I'm making this at the end of September, what was my prediction accurate? The analysis here is Ukrainian forces have been conducting offensive operations in the east and south of the country in an attempt to retake territory currently under Russian control in the Donetsk, Luhansk, and Zaporizhia oblasts. Assessments of recaptured territory vary, but Ukraine is thought to have taken back 50% of the land initially seized by Russia. The forecast is correct. Ukraine will make strong advances this summer. That has happened. Russian forces are, however, deeply entrenched in their positions, particularly to the south of the Dnipro River, in Kherson and Zaporizhia oblasts, making progress with the Ukrainian counteroffensive difficult and slow. So, the prediction is correct. Ukraine made advances, but unable to completely push Russia out. Fortunately, dirty bombs have not been necessary. Not yet. There's been some little skirmishes, and Russia has put nuclear bombs ready to blast up. He's put them near the border and so on. So there's been threats, there's been some worries, but that fortunately has not been necessary. Now, let's see about my next prediction. So the summer prediction, right on. I mean, you have to think. Back in June, we don't know what's going to happen. Some people are thinking, there was a lot of optimism. Go back and read the news in May and June saying that Russia is weak. Ukraine has got all this support from the United States, from Germany, from UK, from other countries. All this new equipment coming in. There's some optimism that the tide would turn. So exactly what happened is what I predicted. Now here's my next prediction. More people become tired of the war around September through December. Well, I'm at the end of September. I'm making this video. Is there evidence that people are now getting tired of the war? Remember, I made this prediction way back in June. Attempts for a compromise will be made, and there will be the closest thing to negotiation from Ukraine and Russia so far. Donald Trump will likely be involved. Probably a partial compromise will be reached with the sense that there will be permanent tension, but it will be manageable. People will question previous strategies. So elsewhere in this prediction, I'm saying that around November, December, so that's the next prediction, that people will become so weary of the war by November that the idea of negotiation doesn't sound so terrible anymore. And we start to see this happen, the development of this frustration with the war around September. So is that frustration beginning? Are people getting tired of the war? Yes, I'm going to show you some website articles. I think most of you who've been following the war know that this is true. Will it continue to erode? I'm predicting yes. We don't know, but the astrology says that it will. So it's going to be interesting. So here's one website, how Zelensky is grappling with Western war fatigue. You'll see these articles. I Googled Ukraine war news. Here's what popped up on my screen. One article. Ukraine war live updates. Putin sympathizing candidate could win election. To quote from this article, a Putin sympathizing candidate for prime minister is neck and neck with his rival Progressive Party in Slovakia's general election, which will take place on Saturday. By the time most of you watch this video, we'll get the results of that. Whether this Putin sympathizing person wins or not, the fact is that the ability of the West to take over and push Putin out, I said it would be long, it would be difficult, the resistance would continue, and there would continue to be sympathy for Putin. It's exactly what's happening. Two more things that pop up when I entered Ukraine war news into Google. That's today. I'm making this video on September 29th, 2023. Here's a quote: "Support for Ukraine might be starting to wane as European solidarity against Russia has started to break apart." Oh my God. Exactly what I predicted in September. Solidarity against Russia starting to break apart. And I'm predicting this way back in June. This vibrational astrology, validated through database analysis, we've done hypothesis tests confirming this isn't crazy. Then we apply it, making these wild, crazy forecasts. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen, and they're coming true. It's so exciting that these tools, working both in the technical analysis and controlled studies using modern research methods, and then applying them to real world conditions, and they're working fabulously with our clients. So we will see if the prediction for November comes true. If it does, our confidence level in our model goes up. If it does not, it goes down, and we see that there are problems with the model. This is why the model is so good, because we test, we evaluate, we critically assess what's going on. When things don't work, we investigate, we fix, we correct. Sometimes it's done with controlled research studies, sometimes it's the application with clients, or here with world events. So, conclusions: the applications of the findings from the research on the databases show that the principles work in practice. This is critically important for an evidence-based practice. If you look at the website for the American Psychological Association, and they give in detail the requirements for an evidence-based practice, they emphasize formal research, quantitative research is the highest level, analyzing exactly what's going on with pure statistics, highest level of confidence. But you need to take that, use it in the real world, confirm that it's useful, that it's practical, that it's effective, that it's efficient. Yes, all of that is happening. So we have a modern, fully developed evidence-based practice, and this is part of the methods that are needed to develop a solid 21st century practice, a full discipline. That's what I was looking for. Discipline, a profession is another word I'm thinking in the back of my mind. It is now fully developed. It exists. A fully modern, fully supported academic level, new field. We sometimes call it cosmobiology because it's so different from what people usually think of as astrology. So vibrational astrology, there's that word, sometimes we call it cosmobiology, is a new discipline that uses different rules from other systems of astrology. As we progress in our understanding, the rules become farther and farther. It's like have little relationship to the usual rules of astrology as we make more discoveries. Vibrational astrology is a fully evidence-based, rigorous academic system that is supported by application of the ideas as well as from rigorous research using modern research methods. That's just repeating what I just said. Now, how did I make this forecast? This is kind of interesting and really kind of shocking. Like an archaeologist who recreates an animal from one bone, I formulated the nature of the Ukraine war from its likely development from one little tiny piece of evidence, the starting time of the war. I don't have birth data for Putin. I don't have other data. From that one little tiny bit of information, when the war began, which imprints the war with the forces that are at work, I make all these forecasts. I took that, I compared it to other models that we've built for terrorist activities. I saw the similarities. So actually, in addition to that one bit of information, we have a whole body of research evidence showing that what went on at the time has certain results in our analysis of terrorist activities. I've videos, tutorial videos, hundreds of them, explaining all this in detail. So by tracking the development since the war began, I've been able to understand what strategies and decisions are effective and which are not. This is the cool thing. Not only does the vibrational astrology work with rigorous modern research methods, not only is it effective when you apply it, But most important, it tells us the dynamics and what strategies will work. So it's not just some crystal ball like, oh, this will happen. Well, if that's going to happen, it's sort of fate. It's not very useful. What's so exciting is it gives us strategies. It gives us information. It gives us actionable information. So governments and businesses that are early adopters and using this new technology have a big advantage. We are now consulting large international companies. We have a nonprofit academic research institute. This is going big very rapidly. It's a new technology and it uses the highest rigorous academic standards. It's shocking to everyone. I think astrologers are perhaps the most resistant to this idea, but it's gaining hold among some big businesses and some data scientists, because this is a real model that actually works. So, I don't make a lot of videos now for the general public. Most of them are going to members only. If you go to, I won't bring it up. If you just go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a join button. If you don't see the join button, it's because you might already be a member. And if you are, thank you for being a member. It costs $5 a month. You get access to this huge library and all the new videos that I'm making. And if you're not a member, you'll see this join button to join, to become a member. If you don't see the join button, there's a chance you're on an iPhone using the YouTube app. For some weird reason, the iPhone YouTube app doesn't show the join button. It's like a bug or some weird thing. So you just go into a browser like Safari browser or Chrome browser, whatever, and go to YouTube and you'll see the join button. You can join. And many of you are not members, but you are subscribers, so you're getting notices. That is also a great support. I appreciate it. So that's it, my friends. That's the update on the Ukraine war that I'm making in autumn 2023. I'll probably make the next update somewhere around December, January, February, after we see if the previous predictions that I made for November, December come true or not. It's so interesting to see how this develops and exactly how it works out and how it plays out and how we learn from the model. And it might be wrong. You know, the model, maybe what I predicted for November, December won't be right. So far, we're at about 95% accurate. If not, maybe it drops down to 70 or 80% accurate. It's okay. It doesn't mean like we're tremendously frustrated. We have tremendous confidence it works, and the errors are how the model improves. So either way we win. If the prediction doesn't work, it helps us improve our model to find out why it didn't work. If it does work, that's, you celebrate. Wow, this model is working fantastically. Okay, well, that's it, my friends. Thank you very, very much for listening. God bless. Namaste.